Ricochet provides a glimpse into our dark future where one man is cursed to endlessly fight himself in disc-based duels. In this future, an economic hyperwar has resolved the problem of race, and alongside it the problem of gender, in a very troubling way. This will happen to you, dear viewer. But until then, you can roleplay in this multiplayer video game experience that gives you a glimpse into what Tron would look like if published by the radical sorcerer Gabe Newell. And when it's frequently on sale for less than $1, why shouldn't you? As you may know, Valve and their God Emperor have long supported the modding communities of their games, with a number of mods being published as standalone games, and in some cases worked into fully fleshed out sequels. Ricochet was one of these chosen mods. Born in the year 2000 as a Half-Life mod, it was eventually horrifically resurrected as a standalone game in 2013. All Valve games are perfect, and this is no exception. Ricochet is, however, the bastard of this family, being the only one of Gabe's children that Valve openly and officially calls a failure. And I mean openly. You may be familiar with this game, however, probably only due to its featuring in the Valve Complete Pack, wherein Steam smuggles this gem into your account like a grand piece of jade, hidden in a mysterious merchant's boulder, only for you to either ignore it or play it for 2 minutes before leaving a poorly written and overdone joke in the Steam reviews. But those who can tolerate the psychic damage output by the game for any extended period of time, or even go so far as to modify it, will discover its sweet and gooey interior. You play as a handsome space devil who, after being cursed with immortality, has taken to endlessly butchering and murdering other very similar handsome space devils to find some solace in this tomb amongst the stars. You are armed with only a disc that when left-clicking can throw 3 discs capable of pushing, or when right-clicking throws a single disc capable of beheading. How then does this man stop himself from being beheaded or pushed into the void by his enemy? Through humanity's ongoing struggle against the force of gravity. In this game, you are only able to throw discs on a flat plane, meaning that unless you can ricochet against a sloped wall, discs can either be avoided by dodging like a coward or taking to the skies using these jump pads strewn across a map, wherein the poetic movement gaming experience of Ricochet becomes clear. Powered by the Christ-like movement systems provided by Half-Life's Gold Source engine, allowing for heavenly abilities such as air strafing, Ricochet becomes a transcendent game of cat and mouse, except if the mice were also cats. Now I hear you saying, Davey, why might I play this ancient and abandoned title when there are other similarly ancient and abandoned movement-based deathmatch games, some even on the same engine? To this I say that they are not similar. Not in the slightest. Unique to Ricochet is its dearth of weapons. With a titanically simple armory of only one weapon, and a strange one at that, the intrigue of this game arises in figuring out how you're gonna get this goddamned bouncy disc to hit these horrible men. No assault rifle will ever provide the satisfaction of a well-timed Ricochet. To assist in this process, there are 4 power-ups which players can pick up, each temporarily granting an upgrade onto your disc. A player can have multiple different upgrades at once, combining their effects into an unholy machine of war the likes of which are yet to be seen on this planet. The first is the freeze shot, which simply slows down those who are hit by it. Not very useful for those who like to behead on the first shot, but it does give enemies a very sexy war. The second is the triple shot, which throws 3 discs instead of 1, making any individual throw much harder to dodge. The third is the power shot, which makes all discs decapitate, thus giving players the ability to quickly send 3 decapitating shots or more, rather than the usual single shot afforded by a right click. The last is the fast shot, allowing for discs to be thrown in much faster succession. An alright power-up by itself, but the ultimate power-up to pair with others. You see, if one is to acquire a power shot, fast shot, and triple shot, they are able to fire 9 decapitating discs in extremely quick succession, which, after ricocheting, can eliminate an entire arena if done correctly. While only temporary, the titanic power briefly offered by these power-ups drastically increases the feverish game of cat and cat that occurs, as players scramble desperately for each power-up like seagulls after a fat boy's chips. Maps for this game come in 2 forms, those styled after the official maps and those that take a more interesting approach. Generally, you will find that the second are preferable. Here are the official maps for the game. Each of them are reasonably fun, a couple of hours of gameplay can be bled from each, but they do not really allow for the true glory of the Ricochet experience to shine. Modded maps, on the other hand, do, namely because they add walls. You see, in Ricochet, an important part of gameplay comes from the act of a ricochet, or when the disc bounces off a wall. There are some surfaces upon which you can ricochet in the official maps, but they are sorely lacking. In modded maps, you will frequently see the addition of full walls or even rooms, something completely absent from the official maps, allowing the disc dueling experience to reach a euphoric peak, as all are subjected to the continual horror of discs raining vertically from all directions at all times. However, as this game has a fan base of almost no people, very few community maps have been released for it. By my count, I believe there is under 100 that are easily downloadable, and a great deal of them do not work. Further, when playing there are only 2 game modes, 1v1 and free-for-all, and unless you are a sick freak, you will only ever play the second, thus eliminating any maps designed for the 1v1 game mode. You will find that a great deal of the maps are very strange, as unlike other games such as Team Fortress 2 or CSGO that have had millions of players to help sharpen a map design philosophy for what works and what doesn't, Ricochet has very few players and fewer map makers. Thus, each map feels like a cruel and unusual experiment on what features may make for enjoyable play. However, as previously mentioned, frequent use of walls tends to be characteristic in the more enjoyable maps. I will leave a list of my favorite modded maps in the description. The greatest among them is a map called Crossfire. Originally a map for the deathmatch mode of Half-Life, it has been converted to suit the gravity-based combat of Ricochet, with its frequent use of small rooms, perfect for ricochets, and a heavy emphasis on verticality, making it ideal for the mental puzzle of getting bouncy discs to hit a person who is rapidly changing their altitude. My most enjoyable experiences in this game have been on this map. Now, if you are looking to play this game, there has never been a better time, as due to a recent update to Half-Life, creating and joining servers is easier than ever, foregoing the archaic and dark magic that was previously required. In any case, some mysteries do remain, so I will leave details to help set up the game in the description. Be warned, there is a reason this knowledge has been lost to time. This game is best enjoyed with friends, so if you are without them, I suggest you turn around and go try find yourself a kitten in the nearest Discord dating server. However, there are always a handful of people online, so you will certainly find someone to play with if you stick around long enough. In conclusion, Ricochet is an idiosyncratic title that is understandably overlooked, but with light alteration can become one of the most enjoyable deathmatch experiences at its price point. If you fancy yourself a movement gamer or cannot help but hear the call of the void as it beckons you to push your enemies and then yourself into it, then this is the game for you. This is my first time posting on this channel, so if you liked this review and would like to see more, please let me know by subscribing, liking, or commenting on this video, and hopefully I will be able to deliver more content sometime soon.